time mediation. So, are you really ready for what you truly desire? Now, you've written your CV, your resume, it's sent to agencies or uploaded to their site, you're gearing up, you've joined that online dating agency or site, your profile's written, it's up there, it's ready for action. You've sorted out the house, perhaps you've got professional pictures done, you're really ready to move. It's with the agencies now, and any time it's going to get sold. Now, these are all just kind of scenarios of where we kind of feel we're ready, and then sometimes things don't happen. Like you're still waiting for that right job, that right career, that right move, that right person and relationship. And sometimes what happens is you go into something that you think is right for you, this is right for me, and it doesn't turn out to be, or you make the move, whether it's job, house, whatever, and it's just not quite, or you kind of accept that that's what you have to actually take right now, but it doesn't completely satisfy your desire. You even try and cheer yourself up around it, kind of, yes, this is definitely the right thing for me. Alternative, you just don't get the job offers. You don't get the things that are right for you. You don't get the right people coming in for you. You don't meet the right people to connect to. You don't find yourself in the right situation. And I think that we often think when we're ready, we think we're ready. And this to me comes down to availability. So we think we're out there. We think we are open for business. But are we? And to me, that comes through to availability. Now, in relationships, often it's one of the barriers is emotional availability. We're physically single, but we are not. We're not physically available. We're physically available, meaning we're single, but we aren't emotionally available. So yeah, that's fine. You can go out and try and search for that person as much as you want. However, you're not going to find what you actually desire deep down. You're going to find something that probably seems like it but actually isn't like it in the end. You're going to hit the same kind of issues. It might be the job, same thing. There's lots of reasons why we might not be available. One of it is we might still be attached. We haven't detached from our last relationship, our last job, and we can be still in that job as well before we move on. Very few people jack in their job and then just wait for something else. Usually you start a process of detachment because you need to be ready to leave, and especially if you've been there a while, you actually get very institutionalized. You have to be prepared to go, actually, am I ready to get rid of this where I am currently and put that into the past, which is kind of the basic premise. Are you ready to put that into the past and be ready brand new for something brand new? And often we're still attached to something, someone in the past, and that's the reason why we're not available. We're not truly open for business. We think we're open for business. It's like having the sign open for business, but actually you've locked the door so no one can actually come in. Those things, that's probably the best analogy I can put up. Availability is something different. Being open and ready is very different from thinking that you're ready or taking those steps forward. In jobs wise, we might be we might not see the jobs that are right for us. We might dismiss them. We might say, actually, we don't have the qualifications, we don't have the experience, all those things. Yes, it's my dream job, but I know I won't get it. Or finding reasons not to apply for them. And it can be the fact that it's not actually in our hands, is that we don't get the call up for those jobs that we feel that we should get. And the thing is, it's not really, there's nothing physically, if you've done certain searches, done the research, you feel you're ready, it can feel very frustrating when things aren't actually happening or aren't moving. And we can put it down to divine timing, and sometimes that is the case, but there is a difference when you are completely available to what's coming in. For when you're making yourself sabotaging, you're finding reasons not to, whether it's reasons not to talk to that person, finding reasons not to go for the jobs that are right for you, or your CV or resume is not getting picked up, your house is having lots of views, but people aren't picking it up, or you're going to see lots of places and that you just haven't found that one house that is right for you. There's lots of different ways this manifests, and yes, timing can be one of it, but ask yourself the question of, are you really ready? If you find that you're hesitant, or you're making excuses, or you are finding reasons not to do X, Y, Z, or go for X, Y, Z, or why this person you are, not as interested, and falling into, back into some habits, or finding yourself not interested in the people that you should be interested in, or running away from that, then that's a question of availability. Or perhaps you get something and you're like, this is amazing, this is everything I desire, and yet you find some reasons not to like it. You're finding the reasons to dislike it, or your comparisons are another thing as well. Attachment can show you're still attached. Oh, well, at my last job we were like this. Oh, we had this. Oh, we did this. Or in your last relationship, oh, he was like that. And if you're still comparing him or her or they to an ex, everyone that you meet, you're still attached to that old relationship, that old dream, and that old person. Now, the same with jobs. If you're making comparisons of jobs to, the place that is not serving you right now, then, you are still attached to your job role. And if you're making excuses on perfectly good houses that, really tick every box and make you feel good, but there's still a but there in yourself, check where that but is coming from. Ask yourself that question. Is it coming from your heart? Say it out loud. Why aren't I getting these, the jobs I desire? Why am I not finding that person? Why am I finding so much faults with something I love? And see where that, or just ask yourself, do I love this house? Is this the right job for me? And, even if you find all these reasons not to go for it, if your heart says yes, or your heart gives you any other answer, follow it. It might say you're just scared, or it can't, also if it's your lower chakras and it responds, it can be the fact that actually that's the fear of you. You don't feel you're good enough, and feel the fear. Feel your initial responses. People do kinesiology, I don't. But actually you can use, there's so many different resources to try and work out what is potentially blocking you, and is it yourself? Is there a block actually? I should always say, is there a block first? And are you self-sabotaging? Are you really not ready? And it's okay to say, I'm not ready yet. And often we think we're ready, as I've done this quite a lot of times, and actually the rest of the universe is saying, no, you've got a little bit more to go. And it's okay. It's okay to not be ready. It's okay to not be available right now for whatever you desire, because you can work on it and make that change, whether that be timing or whether that's actually needing to take action, because obviously passivity is still as important as physical action, doing. So anyway, that is my PSA for today. So, have a think about what you desire if you're still waiting for it. And let me know what your answers are when you ask yourself, because yourself always has the key and always knows.